Hey guys, what's up? My name is Brandon and I'm here in beautiful Carson, California. I'm ready to talk to you about dealing with the pain I've gotten with the L5, L5S1 herniated disc. Just kind of like what's been going on from about a year ago when the incident first happened to where I am now and the journey that I've just kind of been on. A lot of ups and downs, some really great achievements, some setbacks, but regardless, I'm still here for you today. I'm still standing and I'm still just trying to help whoever might be going through something very similar, who might be thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm too young for this, you know, I've got so much to do, I'm so active, will it ever get better? Whether you end up fully recovering from your injury or if you have to come to terms with the fact that it's going to be there, and the only thing you can do is manage the pain and just learn to cope. So whichever thing you kind of fall into, just know you're not alone. It gets better. So let me start off by saying kind of my journey, who I was before I got my injury. Not that I'm a completely different person, but I just haven't been able to do some of the things I used to. Before, I was doing cross country. That was in high school, and I was a part of a ton of clubs. I loved to dance, so much so that I got a job at Disney. That's where I started working as a parade performer and just different shows and stuff like that. It was about 5 years that I worked there, and it was very fun, you know. I ended up straining my back about 3 times. Well, which super sucks, but I kind of pushed through it. I did all the physical therapy. Each time they would say that, you know, to avoid this, you really need to strengthen your core, which is so true because your core is what kind of supports the whole body. It supports everything. And if you don't do that, then you're really just kind of setting yourself for failure, which I later learned. Your back kind of goes out and you can't bend a certain way and it hurts every time you walk. And, you know, I would go through it. I'd feel pretty down, but then I would do physical therapy, I'd rest it, and then it would get better. Well, the following year, I wasn't as lucky because I sustained a back injury from work again. Well, I was just lifting a super big piece of merchandise that we have, and I carried it from one whole side of the store to the other, which is actually kind of a distance when you're carrying something like that. As I was placing it down, boom, I felt something in my back. And then kind of in that same area, I was in a car accident, I moved a couple times. I was working 3 jobs, which for those of you that know me, it's not really a strange thing to hear that. So I get this work injury, but at the time I thought it was just me having another little pulled back thing, you know, not completely aware of what necessarily had triggered it until a couple months passed by, and it started getting harder to walk. I was limping, I was, you know, getting shocks in my back. It was terrible. And I noticed that I couldn't move the same way on a bike, or I couldn't lift certain things. And it wasn't until the surgeon had me go do an MRI that we found out that I had a herniated disc. Basically, there's a jelly-like substance inside your vertebrae. And when you cause a massive amount of trauma, it comes out. And depending on how bad it is, you definitely would feel the difference. Mine is primarily triggered in my lower back, left buttock area, behind my knee, and then down to my ankle, because that jelly is pushing on a sciatic nerve, which runs down your whole leg. So it can feel different for people. So on good days, I only feel it a little bit, maybe a little tingle. But on bad days, I could be laying down, move the wrong way, and it's like a shock. Driving is terrible. Sitting down for the most part is just not fun at all. I have felt really lost, kind of not hopeless, but just very much not myself. Going from a guy who was so used to doing Zumba and running and, you know, dancing and doing all this crazy stuff to I've got to do modified everything. All you want is for it to be fixed. But even with the epidural, it only lasted 4 months, so nothing's permanent. It's all about working with your therapist and I guess rebuilding that core and trying to suck it back in. For those of you that, I don't know, are currently going through it, you're not alone. Honestly, if you have days when you're just I just want to lay in bed and I just want to not do anything because it hurts so much, honestly, sometimes that can be worse for you. Some of my worst days, I find where I'm just like completely still or I haven't been doing anything. But when I'm at work, it feels great. Like I'm walking and I'm moving, or I'm out with friends. Even if I go to the club, like as long as I'm like modified, like when my body warms up, I feel a lot better. But I think a lot of the times we start becoming our injuries, our, whatever we have, it starts taking on a persona, and then that's all we see ourselves as. But in actuality, you have to look past that, and you have to just believe that you can still do things. You don't have to just quit your whole life, because if you do that, then it will get the best of you. And I think that perspective is that like my mom has like a bunch of these, and for the longest time I was like, you just need to try it and get up and like work out little by little, but realizing like now that I have it, it's like it's not that easy sometimes. Like sometimes I will want to wash something or like clean out my car, but then the little movements, and it just sucks. I would say just try as much as you can before going like through a surgery route or anything super invasive to just work with a physical therapist, strengthen your core, and feel free to like message me or like ask questions. Yeah, reach out, because I know that I was Googling up like crazy. I was like all over Google. What is a herniated disc? What is this and this? What is that? Like what'll happen during this procedure? That can be really dangerous. Don't psych yourself out. I don't know, just live in the moment. Just do it.